Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily Podcast number 10. That's right, we've made it to double digits. It's more consistent and committed than many things I've done in my life, so a little small victory there to celebrate. Today I just wanted to talk about a way I've come across for optimal learning. It's especially for memorizing, but basically all learning other than physical skills comes down to memorizing knowledge in one form or another. So it really applies to a lot of different subjects. And there's some software available that is called, it basically works on the spaced repetition principle or a spaced repetition system. And it's really spectacular for learning new things. Now, previously I used some free software, I believe it's only for the Mac, I'm not positive on that, called Mnemosyne, and that was really great. It works exactly how it should, and basically to give you an idea, it's like normal flashcards. You create the question and answer, and then how it works is it shows you one. When you're ready, you reveal the answer, and then you don't just say whether you got it or not, you actually rate how confidently you got it. And I think in Mnemosyne there's 6 levels from I had no clue, I almost got it, I barely got it, I was fairly confident, that was pretty easy, to absolutely, that was the simplest question in the world. So each answer you give, you rate for how confident you were. And then behind the scenes, it has an algorithm that actually calculates when you should be shown that flashcard again for optimal learning, so that you retain everything, but you don't review it any more often than you need to. There's actually been done a lot of research into this for learning rates, and it really, the reason it's spaced, it spaces it out. So let's say you put a new card in today and you learn it. So it's going to show you the same card again tomorrow, and let's say you get it. Then it's going to show you the same card maybe 2 days after that. And each time you get it right, depending on how confident you were in it, it'll space it out further and further and further. So eventually, you might not see the same card again for 6 months or longer, just to pull it out and review from really deep memory, and just kind of proves you've got it. And the cool thing about this is, if you just keep doing your cards, I mean, even just a few minutes every day, depending on how many you've got, you can kind of ensure over the long haul that all of these really intricate details, whatever you've put in there, is going to be actually usable and recallable when you need it. And when it spaces it out, the more and more you add, it really doesn't add up to much every day. So it's pretty spectacular stuff. Now, the classic use of flashcards for adults is language learning, and of course for that it is awesome. I've also used it, I got into, dorky of all interests, parliamentary procedure and Robert's Rules of Order. And I was actually studying up to take one of the basic exams to get certified in parliamentary procedure. And so the cool thing about it is, if you ever get into one of these dorky interests, also flying falls under this category, amateur radio falls under this, that there are pools of questions. So a lot of certification tests work off this principle that they give you the pool of questions, and then they say 10% of these questions are going to be on the test. So, okay, you don't know which 10%, maybe there's a couple hundred or 1,000 questions in the pool, but you can actually enter those in one by one, go through, put them in the flashcards, and just spend, what I was doing, it was a pool of maybe 300 questions, I think, and I got them all entered, and then did 10-minute sessions 2 or 3 times a day. And it really didn't take long at all to get through all 300 cards, and I found that I was just retaining every single one of them, and it would bring them back at the right intervals. So there was no question, I mean, absolutely beyond a doubt, I was going to get a perfect score on this test. So for those kinds of things, it's really great. And then the other thing I'm starting to do now is I do pretty well with programming HTML, but I really just want 100% mastery of HTML. So I've got a book coming, and I mean there's resources online, but I wanted a comprehensive reference so that I can go through page by page, enter anything I could possibly formulate into the form of a flashcard. I'll be entering it. And then the same thing, I'll just do my 5 or 10 minutes, maybe twice a day. And it's just a matter of time. You're going to get through all the cards, and they will be reviewed, and that knowledge will be retainable as long as you spend just a couple minutes a day reviewing. So, I told you about Mnemosyne. The one problem I had with it, the biggest problem, is that there was no way to sync it to an iPhone specifically. And that to me is just crucial. As great as it is to have your 10 minutes to sit down at the computer, more often than not, if you could just pull it out for a minute here or there throughout the day, wherever you're at, waiting in a line or whatever it may be, that is really what opens up the potential for regular review. So it didn't do that, and I was getting so frustrated. There's a lot of flashcard software on the iPhone, but it all is really, it's got one problem or another, whether it's you have to go through some weird procedure through their website to get cards onto your device, and then it's just very, very strange. I was really frustrated that there didn't seem to be much available. So I was actually getting to the point of considering writing my own program and doing whatever it took to get this going, because there's so many great apps nowadays that just seamlessly sync between your desktop, your iPhone, your iPad, if you have a Droid, whatever. So I thought this has to happen with flashcards, and was all ready to pull out the stops and create one. But I did a little more research and came across a program called Anki. That's A-N-K-I. And a little disappointed because I was ready to make the big bucks from doing this myself, and realized this thing pretty much does everything I want it to. So it's at a weird web address that I'll put a link to in the notes, but ANKI, and it's available on every platform: Windows, Mac, Linux, and then the mobile, iPhone, Droid. I mean, it's got everything. The amazing part too is it is free. All the desktop versions are free. The only one he's charging for is the iPhone. He's actually charging quite a lot at $25, but if you're into this type of software, it is a bargain to me. I mean, the knowledge you can lock in with this is just spectacular. So I would pay more than that probably. But you only have to pay if you're hardcore enough to want to go mobile. You can use it on the desktop for free. So I'm in the early phases of testing. Really looks to be great stuff, pretty well put together. There's some great search functions and kind of ways to organize your cards, and a lot of charts to keep track of your learning and see what you have upcoming and what you've accomplished, how much time it's taken you, all these things. So overall, it looks to be great. I'll definitely follow up after I've used it for a while. But if you've never, if you haven't used flashcards since you were back in elementary school, really think about it for anything you're going to learn. It is such a powerful way to lock in new knowledge.